Hello, everyone. This is the weekly meeting of the Phrancko Sweater Knitters. I'm Frank Jernigan, aka Phrancko, spelled Phrancko. And you can generate a Phrancko sweater pattern at phrancko.com that is custom fit to your measurements using the gauge of the yarn and needles that you choose. You don't have to match somebody else's gauge. And all of these people have knit Phrancko sweaters, and we love talking about sweaters and knitting and all kinds of things. So welcome, everyone. Hi, Joellen.
Hi.
Hi, Rana.
Hello.
Hi, Sumner.
Hey, Frank.
Hi, Cindy.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, Jenny.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, Serena.
Hi, Frank.
So let's start with my exciting news. I have almost finished programming the computer to produce the new yoke version of the Phrancko sweater. It's not live, you can't see it online, but it's on my computer. And last week we had a lengthy discussion about how to present this complicated set of things that you're doing at the same time. And I'd like to tell you what solution I came up with. It was the one I first thought of and then immediately discarded because I thought it'd be too wordy. And that would be to simply have an instruction that says what to do on every single round until all of that is complete. But I programmed it up, and I think it makes so much sense. People may want me to change the existing programs to do the same thing so they aren't so hard to track. Given an assistance like what's it called, a knit companion, you can set it to go through your program line by line and keep track of what line you're on, and this would perfectly well suit itself to that.
Great.
So let me show you what the pattern looks like at this point. So this is the sample sweater I've been working with. It says it's a yoke sweater for Phrancko. The only new thing here is that if you look closely at the schematic, there's an arc that shows where the yoke might go. I mean, it's from shoulder to shoulder, basically. And here is knitting the yoke. You start by casting on stitches, and then you knit around, placing stitch markers. And after you've placed those markers, you now know where the 3 sections on the front, where the 2 sleeve caps are, and the 3 sections on the back are all delineated. And then you just start knitting. And the instruction says where the instruction is to place 6 increases, well, let me just read it. To place 6 increases on the front and on the back in the following instructions, you may choose to separate the sections for pattern repeats by working an increase at the beginning and the end of each section, or alternatively, you may place 2 increases in random ungrouped locations in each section to create an undivided yoke. So this pattern is guiding you through creating a yoked sweater that you will essentially design yourself. It could be as simple as the yoke is one color and it's solid and the body is another color, which would be the simplest way to do it, but not very exciting. Or you can decide to do a pattern in each of the 3 sections on the front and the 3 sections on the back, and a different pattern on the saddles and the sleeve caps. Which is what I'm doing for my next published pattern, which has been approved for the winter issue of Cast On magazine. I'm excited about it. We've already ordered the yarn for it. So then, once you've got that knitted round with the markers in place, you then just, like round 1, knit, working 6 increases on the front and the back. In round 2, just knit. Round 3, 6 increases. Round 4, 5, knit 6, and that's the way it goes. If you knit without increases, it just says knit, and if you put in 6 increases, you put in 6 increases, according to how you choose to put them in. Then the yoke is complete, and so then we start the really complicated part, shaping the fronts and backs while also shaping the sleeve caps. The front and back are shaped by decreasing 2 stitches on certain rows, and those rows have to be identified by the pattern. The decreases go right next to the sleeve cap marker on the body side. And just like before, the increases for the sleeve cap go on the other side of that marker, on the outside of the sleeve cap. So you might have a decrease and then slip the marker and then have an increase. And so I'll just indicate sort of some of the different lines here. The first round is decrease 0 times, increase 2 times on each sleeve cap. Well, there will be an instruction here that tells how to increase 2 times on the sleeve cap, but it's what you've all done with previous ones. Make one right, make one left, right next to the sleeve cap marker. Round 2 is the same thing. Round 3, I'm doing 3 fits in this pattern just to test it more thoroughly. So I decrease 2 stitches in the undersized, 2 stitches in the standard size, and I don't decrease on the oversized. And it doesn't say anything about increases, so you don't do increases on the saddle shoulder. And so it goes like that. Sometimes, like round 4, it says do decreases on the front and back, and then increase 2 times on the sleeve cap. That's when you're doing them at the same time. You're familiar with how the pattern usually reads, where I say, work an increase on every other row 6 times or some number of times. And if you go down after you've done the first 2 rows, that's where those instructions would start. And so we can look for increases and see row 3 has no increases. Row 4 has 2 increases. Row 5 has no increases. Row 6 has 2 increases. So it's actually doing every other row of increases. It's doing that part of the pattern. And it just goes like that all the way down through a maximum of 55 rounds, telling you which rounds to increase and which rounds to decrease. And the rest of this pattern is exactly the same. So that's it.
That's nice. It's very similar to how I started doing cable sweaters 30 years ago.
Yes.
You would just do the rows. Charting, it was new for me. I still don't do it very well.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so that's nice. I like it.
I like it too.
Frank, where you're saying like increase 2 times, do you mean 2 stitches, like one on each side of the shoulder?
That's right.
Okay.
2 increases on each sleeve cap.
It's increased 2 stitches
on the sleeve cap.
Yeah, before when you were using times, you were saying like work the increase X time, so many rows.
Every
X
other
times.
row X times.
And so
if I do it row by row, what if I said in the old pattern, I would say do an increase round every other row 4 times. So that means if you change it to this style, it would be round 1, no increases. Round 2, 2 increases. Round 3, no increases.
Okay.
Round 4, 2 increases.
Okay. All right. I think that's a lot. It's clearer and it's nice. You can just like check it off as you go.
Yes.
And if you use the funny little guys like I do, you can even, these are my funny little elastics, elastics.
Oh, right.
You can just keep track of okay, I did this one, I did this one.
Uh,
That would help
And the
you to
other
keep
thing, you
track.
can see if you've done it on either one. Sometimes you may do this and not do that over here.
Yeah, I've done that too.
Rows.
So yeah. You're wearing your new sweater.
Oh, yes.
There.
I got it back yesterday from the editor who had it for a while to photograph it. And it came out in Cast On magazine this week.
I saw the magazine. That was really cool. Now, are those regular cables, Frank, or are those something else? Are they some
These,
sort of twisted?
yes, these are twisted stitch patterns. Alpine,
Okay, so
Alpine,
there aren't
Austrian,
any
Bavarian.
cables.
They're what?
They're not any cables. They really are a twisted stitch.
They're all
pattern?
twisted stitch pattern.
Oh
That's
my
right.
gosh. It's
Amazing.
beautiful.
I thought cable and twisted stitch were kind of the same thing. I guess it's not.
Well, a twisted stitch is a kind of cable, but it's very particular. It's usually just one stitch traveling over another stitch, or maybe over two stitches, or most commonly. And the knit stitches are always twisted, which makes them stand out more. Though I really can't say they stand out more than Aran cables, but you rarely take two stitches across two stitches, though there are some of those. So it is a kind of cable. It's just a different style of knitting where the stitches are knitted, twisted, and also they cross over on every row. Unlike Aran cables, which usually cross over only on the knits rows, and then or every other row, so it's easy to knit and purl, because the purl stitches the purl sides are usually just knit the knits and purl the purls. There's no crossing over, no switching of no use of a cable needle or swapping stitches on the needles.
That's nice. I saw the pattern in the magazine. I thought that was really cool. I looked it up.
I do have a video that I didn't put in the pattern, but I think I'll post online this week. It's showing how I knit just across one row. Well, actually, I knit halfway across and then say the other half's just like the first half. So
just reverse it, right?
Yeah, just reverse it. That's right. But there's nothing new in it. It's just like, here's me working across this sweater pattern, and this is how I did it. So maybe somebody can pick up some tip from that. I don't know.
I'm sure.
Well, and sometimes it's just, if it's something that I haven't done before, it's kind of hard to visualize how I would do it. And seeing it done, even though it's not anything big or tricky, and how it's like, oh, I get that. That's what he's doing.
Right.
That's helpful.
Yeah, rather than just having a chart and saying put this at this location. It seemed to me it would be like, if you just look at this sweater, you're going to think, oh, that's really hard to do. And that's the real reason I did it, because just working across it, you can see, oh, you just do this and then this and then this, and it comes out to be this beautiful pattern.
Yeah, because it looks really complicated and hard. It really does.
It's really not.
I also like that area just next to neckline, and you get down here to your shoulders.
Up here?
Like a little waffle weave or something.
Yes, it's a stitch pattern that I invented myself, but I'm sure it's in a book. It's so simple. I just didn't find it in a book. I just I wanted something that looked interesting, but was also not hard to knit. So every other round is just knit.
I also like how I like the cabling twisting below it. It just makes the sweater look even prettier.
Well, thank you.
Joellen, is that your knitwiz sweater you're wearing?
Yes, that's what I thought Cindy was referring to a moment ago.
It looks lovely.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Boy,
What's
it's
that?
real nice. My knit along with Kathy's sweater.
Oh, that's it. Oh, wonderful.
This is the Key West tee.
Very nice.
It is so interesting to me how different yarns and different colors of yarns make it look so different, because I did it in that turquoise and like coral color, and then yours, and even you were talking Thursday about what you did around the neck, how you put some of that kind of gold in it, and it just really looks nice.
Thank you. I agree that it was interesting how different everybody's kind of look, but yet they look the same. You know, they have the sleeves.
Well, it's the same style, but it just to me it looks so different in the different yarns that everybody used, in the different colors, and it's always surprising how unique each of our knitted things are.
Right. Agreed.
Because of choices that we make.
That Serena's in the background. Same sweater.
Yep, that's mine. I had a friend who gave me this mannequin back here, and she just gave it to me, I think, yesterday.
Wow.
So I had to put something on it. So it seemed logical to put the Knit Wiz knit along Key West tee on it. So that's what I did.
Can't have a mannequin, can we?
I just had not got around to getting one, although I thought about it many times, and here she just gave me one. I was so thrilled.
Oh, that's wonderful. It sure helps when you're trying to take photographs.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, for trying to kind of take a look at your project, you know, you can check out your stitch patterns, and I'm sure it'll help me a lot.
Yeah.
Of course, we have a new knit along that will occur in September. So I'm working behind the scenes to prepare for that one, and really excited to do another one. It'll be a cardigan this time.
That's with Kathy?
That's with Kathy, yes, if anybody is interested. Just barely have a little data out on our Ravelry page, and haven't been advertising it too much yet, but
and you're
it's
still
coming.
Still doing it on Thursdays?
Yes, we'll take a break for the rest of August for Zoom meetings, but then we'll start up again in September for weeklies in case people have questions during the knit along. And then one really neat thing about this cardigan is it's going to use Phrancko's set-in sleeves.
Oh, that's great.
Nice.
So we're really excited to give a little advertisement for Frank as well. And I'm sure it's going to be a beautiful fitting sweater because of that unique feature.
Well, that's really nice. Would you like to say, for the purpose of people who are going to be viewing this later, would you like to say clearly where they can find out information about this knit along?
Well, Kathy does have a website, but I don't think she has information about it on there yet. But I'll let you know that the website is knitwiz.com, KNITWIZ.com. We have a presence on Ravelry.com, and we have a discussion group called Knitwiz there, and that's where we have first mentioned it. Of course, I'm on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and such. If anybody wants to follow me, I'm always listed either under my name or Tidefrog1, which is TIDEFROG, the number 1.
And that's your Facebook name?
That's my handle on most social media platforms, even on Ravelry.
And Ravelry, yes.
I was very excited when Tide Frog friended me on Ravelry.
Oh, that is so sweet. Sweet.
I loved it. I was like, oh, that's so fun. So thank you for that. I am the worst social media guy. Oh my Lord.
Well, I don't mind coming here to see you. If that's what I got to do, I'll do it.
Yeah, I am the worst. My husband sent me a message from like a Facebook message. I had no idea how to get in there, and I had something waiting there since June.
Oh, God.
I hope it wasn't too important.
My family knows better. And it was my aunt. And I'm like, why? You know, I'm not on this thing. Why would you do that? Whatever.
Oh.
But it was a funny video.
Well, I have something very funny to share.
Oh, yeah.
Yesterday evening, we were sitting in the living room and I heard a thump on my front porch. So I'm gonna go check that out. We have a lot of wildlife around here. Open the front door and there's an alligator.
Oh,
I screamed, shut the front door. That's the second time we've had an alligator right there. And this one was just a baby. He's only about 4 feet long.
oh, please.
But
No.
Florida life. Florida life.
Was he knocking to get in?
I don't know. Maybe he was getting bugged. You know how bugs hover around the lights inside, and maybe he was bugs. I don't know.
Wow.
Nay, nay. That's what I got to say. Nay, nay, not happening.
But it's one thing I really worried about it before we moved to Florida. But after you move here, you just realize it's just a fact of life. It's part of the wildlife here. There's more alligators than people. You're just going to see them. And usually they're going to run away from you just like a snake or any other animal. So.
Wow. Wow.
No, sirree.
If you're friends with me on Facebook, you'll see a video.
I saw it and it made me jump. I was like, oh, I don't want to see that.
Of course, I couldn't post the video where I was cursing. I said some choice words, and so we just had to share that with some close family and friends.
That's fabulous.
So who has something they want to share with us about what they've done this week or what they're working on now?
I'll show real quick. Remember last week I had cast on for my level 2
Oh,
so I'm all done, and I'm weaving in the ends. There's a gobbet. I think I should have woven in the ends while I was going, but weaving in the ends. But I'm real pleased with how it turned out, and measuring it looks like it's really close. And I even found a horseradish jar, which was the exact size that it needs to block to. So that's what I'm going to use. I went around, I measured everything at the house. Do you know, there's hardly anything that's the right measurement. There's stuff that's a little bit too big and a little bit too little, but I found the horseradish jar is exactly what it calls for. So that's what it's going to be. But it measures good right now. So I think I'm going to be okay.
Very even for the color work. Good for you.
I tried.
The color.
Good job.
Thank you. The colors I chose because of a picture that I had taken of a plant that I had in my garden that blooms in February and March, a pulmonaria. And I just love these colors together. The flowers start kind of more pinky purple and then they change to that blue purple. And so that's what I chose for my colors. And the leaves are that real kind of bright spring green parts of it. And so
Very
that's
nice.
what I did.
Oh,
They
that
look
looks
like-
But I'm
great.
happy I'm finally making progress again.
Yes.
I love it.
Yay.
Next is the Argyle sock. So the wristlet took me a week. If anybody wants to take bets about how long it will take, don't show me that, Sumner. How long it will take me to do one. I don't even have to do a pair. I just have to do one Argyle sock.
I'm telling you. And do the flat one. That pattern works out
Well,
really
that's the one I have to do. You have to do the flat one. That's
And
the
it's
required.
good. And you're not supposed to sew it up, I guess. Right?
I think you sew it part or something. I don't know,
Sew
but
up
you
the
leave
foot and
you
then
leave
leave
the
the
top.
back
Yeah, you leave the top out. So yeah. So they
So
can
that-
see all how you did inside. But that will be my next thing as soon as I get
It's-
my ends woven in.
Easier than this one. It is easier than this
Yeah. Oh, good. I need easy.
one. Yeah, it is easier
Well,
than this one.
last year when they had the TKGA online conference, there was a woman, and I'm embarrassed that I cannot remember her name, but she did a demonstration about doing Fair Isle and stranded color work. And her thing was that as you're doing it, you have your stitches spread out to the gauge that you're trying to go for, that you don't do it all scrunched up, but that you do it stretched out, and well, not stretched out, but evenly spaced like that. So that was how I did it to get my floats to be the right amount. You don't want too much, but you don't want too little either. And so that's what she did. And of course, she also talked about color dominance and all that. And I found that class to be very helpful. So we'll see.
Did you do it on magic loop, or did you do it on 4 needles, or what?
I did
double
it
points?
on the moving magic loop like you did. But I moved it around, and I actually moved it around a lot because I always kept enough of the 2 colors that I was working with on the right side, and then to do on the left side, so that there was always so that they were always spaced, and I wasn't like pulling around a corner. I didn't want to do that at all.
Excellent. That's exactly how I would have done it.
Because it has nice stretch. So I'm happy.
And there's no built-in kink down the 2
No,
sides.
there is not. There's not. No kink at all.
I used to be on the committee that that reviewed things, and many times people would do it on however they were doing it. They would end up with too tight a stretch across where the change in needles was, because they didn't use my magic loop technique. And it leaves like a crease down the side.
Yeah, and then that doesn't ever come out.
That's
I know
right.
The first pair of socks I did ages ago, and it had that crease in it, and the socks still have that crease to this day.
Yes.
But yeah, so I took your advice and did the way, because I've used that before and it works out really well, and so I'm real happy with how it turned out. I think it's going to be good. I'm like, yay.
Has anyone ever attempted to do maybe a small cross stitch design anywhere? Counted cross stitch?
Done petit point.
Pardon?
I've done the petit point. That's what it's called, right? The little tiny cross stitches.
Really points?
Like needle point.
That.
Yeah.
I've done that. There's 100 stitches for 4 inches.
I don't know. Cross stitch is, to me, now tell me if this is what you're saying, is like with a stitch, you can find kind of a four corner situation. And you put a thread one way and a thread on the other, and then you go again, 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 again.
Yeah, same thing.
Okay.
Are you talking about doing that on knitting or just on a canvas?
I was gonna do it on a sweater, maybe just around someplace it doesn't need to really stretch a lot in case I don't get that tension right.
Um,
But
Swiss darning would probably be the better option with knitting because
Okay.
in cross stitch, it's completely square, right?
Yes.
So you have
Yeah.
a very even X, and same
Yeah.
thing with petit point, but petit point, that small one. Knitting, you have a different
Right.
gauge. So there's Suzanne Bryant does a beautiful video on that kind of Swiss darning or overstitching. So
Does
that,
she call it like embellished knitting or something? Embellishment,
yeah,
embellishing your knitting,
maybe.
something like that.
I don't know what she calls it, but I've seen her do it and it really is lovely. So you're going to get a distorted picture if you take a cross stitch pattern and convert it, unless the picture would lend itself to be taller than wider. So if it would lend itself well to be taller than wider, like flowers, or then I think you're fine, but I would still do it with the overstitching.
Okay.
Is Swiss darning the same as duplicate stitch
Yes,
and overstitch? So it
the
has
same
three
thing. Well,
names
there's three
just
different names. One,
to make it complicated.
yeah, right. Just like anything knitting, right? There's three names for every one thing. What do you have up there?
Ellen, this is a book on embellishing your stitches.
Oh, okay.
Ooh,
Nice.
I bought it
Splendid
and I
apparel.
looked at it. It's really pretty, but I've never done anything with it.
Yeah. Yeah, but
A
it's the best way
handbook
to
of
embroider over
embroidered
knitting.
knits. Oh,
Mhm.
It's what I'm doing to put the lines on the Argyle socks also,
Right. Right.
because it is the same as a knit stitch. It's not like embroidery or crewel
Mhm. Right.
where you're doing petals. Crewel would lend itself really nicely to knitting because it doesn't matter where you put it. It doesn't have to go through a stitch.
Okay.
But just my opinion.
Always fun to experiment.
Absolutely.
Sidra, what are you working on?
A cardigan for my daughter. It's gonna have a zipper in it.
Oh,
Ooh, yay.
that's
Great.
right.
All right.
Color.
That's
What
that
did you
nubby
do for
yarn you're
the,
working with.
It's a tweed. It's a Knit Picks Brava tweed.
Nice.
what did you do for the, like the increases along the line? It's got a really lovely look to it, like a little
It's
bit of a,
she calls it a PE something or other, and it's just you go in. It's a 2-stitch increase, and you go in the row below.
mhm.
Do a knit, yarn over, and then go back into that same stitch again, and you have an increase of 2.
Oh,
Yeah, because when you were holding it up, it looks kind of like it's a little lacy section where that
Yeah, it is.
increases.
can you
Very
hold it
pretty.
up again so we can see what we're talking about?
Yeah. The sleeves are like a
Oh,
design.
there it
element.
is.
It's
Yes.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
see it? Yeah, it's really pretty.
Very nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah, a design element, not just an increase.
Correct. It is a
Right.
design element.
It's very nice.
Thank you.
What weight yarn is it, Sidra?
Worsted.
Mhm.
I figured I was going to do it for her in acrylic because who knows how she's going to wear it and stuff like that. So it's just easier that way. Cheaper too.
Jenny, we haven't heard from you. What are you working on?
I'm still on version 3 of the musical scarf. I undid it twice because I wasn't happy, but it's
Oh.
coming along now. So
Oh my.
yeah, so you can see there.
Oh,
And then
Oh,
it's,
you made a lot of progress since Thursday.
Phenomenal.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
beautiful.
Oh, that's
Nice.
great.
yeah. So it's coming along now. Yeah.
Jenny, that's magnificent.
You kill me. You were so talented.
It's just knit and pearl. That's all it is.
But done by an expert. Thank you very much. Yeah. Yeah. You can take a bow after that one. That's impressive.
Now I'll poke myself in the eye if I'm not careful. Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, this is a crazy busy week for me. I haven't been able to do a whole lot of knitting. I'm like, wow, I can't wait to Zoom. I'll be able to knit.
Yeah, that's
So busy.
have you?
I mean, and they pay me to work, but they don't understand. Like, I need to incorporate some knitting in this, you know? It hasn't happened. So I'm actually working. Wow. Yeah, there you go. Luxury problems, people. Luxury problems.
Yeah.
Oh, my friend Patty already has dibs on these Argyle socks. So, and they will
Those are the
fit.
ones with
Air,
the
you
bright
should be able to
pink.
keep them.
Oh, it's
bright pink.
okay. I'll make another pair. I mean, it's fine. I've got other yarn. I figured it out. My bigger thing was knowing how to do it. You know, was learning how to actually do it. Because the one thing I really like about knitting is there's always something to learn. I don't know anyone who's good at knitting, who's knit for decades, that doesn't learn something new all the time.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Keeps me interested.
I tried the Norwegian pearl this week. That's new to me.
Oh, did you?
Oh,
Yeah.
It didn't go too well, but I
It will.
suppose if I did
It
it
will.
enough, I might get better, but you know.
It's funny, I'm gonna try my next pair of Argyle socks to do it Norwegian style. I just couldn't do that plus this at the same time. So I'm gonna go back to it because I'm going through tubes of Voltaren because of the way that I knit, I guess, is maybe not the best for my stiffness in my joints. But knitting Norwegian is not painful at all. And I couldn't, like with the Portuguese knitting, I always felt like I had to reverse the pattern, but you really don't. But I'm not fast enough.
Not at all.
Yeah, no, I know. And the knits are fun because it's all in front of you. I like it. I think so far I'm liking Norwegian the best of any of the techniques that I've tried to learn to alleviate some of the joint pain.
You can only do the Norwegian as continental, right?
Norwegian's continental.
Yeah.
But the pearl is very different from classic continental pearl. It is slower. The thing with the Norwegian pearl is you really got to work on your tension.
That's also true of just continental pearl, I find.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 I like it because
well, it's true of pearl if you throw too. I mean, it's like it's a challenge to get your tension to be the same
That's
for knits
true.
and pearls, however you do it.
Right.
That's true.
I know if I was as perfect as you guys are on knitting this, I would see errors, but I like to be able to do the continental or the Swedish or the English version so that I can switch from one hand doing all the work and then the other and give each hand a rest. Sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to put the knitting down.
Right. Me either. So change it up.
Yeah.
That's what led me to try all the different methods. I'm not going to put it down.
Right.
I'm just gonna, but the added benefit of it was the color work. I didn't realize it made me really good at my floats. Like knowing how to do both, like to be able to knit with both hands when you're knitting with multiple colors. So there's definite benefits to knowing other methods.
Mhm.
It's just fun learning as well. Even if you
Yeah.
don't take to it, it's just saying, oh, I've ticked that one off my list. I had to go at that.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Still working on trying to get to London. I'm not sure how it's going to work out schedule wise. I will keep you posted, Ginny.
Oh, okay. You were thinking about November, weren't you?
Yeah, the week before our Thanksgiving.
When's your Thanksgiving?
The third Thursday. So the week before
okay.
that. So it'd be like the
Right.
third week because yeah, my birthday is the 18th, which is the Saturday before Thanksgiving this year. So
Oh, okay.
like the week that ends on the 18th of November.
Oh, okay.
We'll see. I would love to. I just love it. And the last time I went, the I was completely booked. So I'm going to try to get tickets before I leave.
Oh,
Oh, okay. What is
I
it you
spent a
want to
few
go
days
to?
in London once and I was able to ride the I.
Yeah, I think it was just really busy when I was there. I was in there in the spring and it was like 2 days for a ticket. I'm like, really? 2 days for a ticket? And I had so many plans. I went to see Stonehenge that visit. So I was in London in Victoria Station and it just wonderful vacation. But I like had other things that I had to do, and I just couldn't fit it in.
We went to see Stonehenge also.
Isn't that remarkable? It just, wow.
Yeah.
Like, in person is a whole different experience.
It's a shame you can't get near the stones now. You used to be able to get right up to the stones.
I was just going to say that. I was
Yeah.
disappointed because I thought you'd be able to get right up to them, but
No.
they kept you quite a distance away.
They do.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
paid on a tour and I have to say we were able to walk amongst the stones and we were very lucky.
You're kidding. Oh.
No, I have pictures of it. It was quite remarkable. Unfortunately, it cost quite a bit of money to have that tour. And it took me probably about a year to pay it off. That was a very expensive London vacation. We stayed at the Plaza at Victoria Station.
Oh,
So,
okay.
very posh hotel.
Yeah,
And
it is.
it was lovely. It was mine and my niece's birthday, and she was studying abroad in Ireland. And part of her birthday present was for her uncle to take her to London to travel around. So
Wow. Lucky
I
days.
did, and wow, yeah. Fun hotel. The lights in the hotel, they were all touch lights, like they weren't switches. You touch them it was so modern. It was very fun.
Rana, what have you been doing this week?
I'm working on that sweater I talked about last week that I liked so much.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm a little over 2/3 finished.
Oh,
Really
Oh, that's
like
going
it.
fast then. Because
I
hadn't you just started it, Rana?
I haven't been doing much else.
That's okay. Knitting is more important.
Absolutely. Did you find that pattern helpful, Frank?
You're referring to the seaside tea, right?
Yep.
I downloaded it, and that's what I'm working on right now,
Mm.
because I haven't had time to knit this week because I've spent the entire week programming the computer program.
Mhm.
And I don't plan to make the sweater, and I'm just using random bits of yarn. I want to understand how these saddles are working.
Mm-hmm. I sure like them.
And so let's see, let's look at this one.
Uh-huh. You just got started.
Yeah, I just
Oh,
got
yeah.
started. So the saddles are right here and right here. I mean,
And this is your
edges
yoke
of the
sweater?
saddle. I don't know if it's considered yoked, or I don't know. It's not my yoke sweater. It's a special construction where you don't, in my saddle shoulder sweater, I have you knit the saddles and then pick up stitches on the edges of them.
Mhm.
And this one creates the saddle along with the stitches in front and in
Oh, yeah, yeah. It brings
by
a nice
doing
look.
increases.
Right.
I can't figure out how you end up with the right shape for the for the front and back, but I'm going to keep at it until my yarn comes from my sweater, then everything stops.
I always felt like it lent itself better to a woman's shape than a man's,
Yeah.
because I think it would be hard size-wise to fit the shape of a man's shoulder.
What is?
Well, because that's a kind of a sloped saddle. It's a very
Oh,
it's a fast slope saddle on the one that you're doing,
I
but I
see.
think that lends itself well to a woman's shoulders or a
Well,
smaller
shoulders,
frame
Oh.
square
than a
shoulders.
man's.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was sloped, and as the little tiny bit that I've worked, I thought this looks like it's sloping really fast.
Yeah,
And
I think it lends itself better to a woman's body type than a man's.
uh,
Well,
I
it's a
wonder if there's any photos of men wearing it. That would help cement that idea.
Yeah, I mean, and it depends on the man, right? There are men with sloped shoulders, right? Like swimmers and divers, right? You can have a sloped, not so angular shoulder, right? So I think it depends. But I have a friend, Rhonda, who tried it, and looking at it, I did like, no, that's not going to work for me. But I love your saddle shoulders, Frank.
oh, nice.
They fit great. They're perfect. They're exactly what I need in a saddle shoulder.
Well, I'm looking at all the projects for this seaside tee, and most of them are just hanging up on hangers or partially finished and not worn. But all of them that are on somebody are all on women.
Yeah.
So that didn't help.
But it is a beautiful way to do it. I mean, it's interesting.
All women, because we rule the world, I'm pretty sure.
Well, we know that.
Oh, yeah.
That's it right there.
We've been pretending otherwise a long time,
Yes, we
but we
have.
know the truth.
We were misguided.
Ronna, does the pattern have you leave stitches for the sleeves and then you go back and carry on the sleeves down?
You're in. Say that again.
So does it like Frank's pattern, do you get all the way down to the separation
Oh,
and
yeah.
then leave the stitches on for the sleeves?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm extremely happy with this pattern.
Because are you doing it in a gradient yarn, did you say?
Yes, I am. Instead of doing stripes, I'm let the gradient do the walking.
So how are you going to do the sleeves then? Are you winding bits off for the sleeves, or are they going to be a different color?
Well, you knit in the round from the lowest part of the front neck. You're then knitting in the round all the time. And so with a gradient, in fact, I'm working on one of the sleeves now. Because it's a gradient and it's going to change the whole situation. Knitting around an arm and knitting around a body, that's going to really play havoc with gradient. And
What
so
about
what
when
I
you start the sleeve, isn't there a change in color that's abrupt?
no,
Why not? How did you match the color on the two sleeves where you separated them off from the body?
well, you start knitting the sleeve in the round pretty quickly.
No.
So-
When you've got past the armholes and you've
Oh.
divided, and then you're
Yeah.
doing the body, and you've got the sleeve stitches left.
Uh-huh.
When you pick up those sleeve stitches and carry on the sleeves down, it's going to be a different color, is it?
Yeah, what I tried to do is figure where I left off color wise, and then I unwound a new gradient ball to where it
There we
matched.
go.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Now we know that was the answer to our question.
Oh, I misunderstood. Yeah,
You are.
you got to play games with it, and therefore you're losing some of your gradient yarn because you can't just pick it up anywhere.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
Right, and it stripes at a different rate, but it still looks lovely
It-
on sleeves.
Yeah, it does. But because the circumference of the sleeve, the gradient gets very long as opposed
Right.
to
Yeah.
the bottom where it's almost stripe like.
Right, but it does make a lovely sleeve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
I did one with mini skeins, which was fine because you could keep well, actually it's here. You could keep weighing each mini skein as you went down. Hold on, let me just show you.
Uh-huh.
So this one was done with mini skeins.
Beautiful. Yes.
So the
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
sleeves match the body
Uh-huh.
because I kept winding each, when I got to each mini skein, I worked out how many stitches on the sleeves and how many stitches on the body and weighed it and split it before I started. So there was a gazillion ends on the inside.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could, yeah, you can see
This
all the
is-
little tufts for all the little ends on the inside every time you had to change colour.
Oh,
Right.
wow, yeah. That's a beautiful sweater.
But
Nice.
that only works if they're mini skeins.
Yeah.
But yeah, not if it's one long skein. Yeah.
Well, and the gradient on this is kind of long, so it really
Yeah.
screws up the sleeves a little bit, but I think it's going to be okay. It'll be interesting.
Well, we have a couple of minutes left. Somebody have something they'd like to share with us?
Where is everybody?
It's summertime.
I mean, we're
Well, has
missing.
anybody heard anything from Wally?
I haven't.
Yeah, because we haven't seen him for a while. I hope he's
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, he was helping a friend I know, but
Mhm, yeah.
He was moving, right? His sister, was it his sister that died?
That's right.
Yes.
He had to
Yeah.
clean her whole house and move, and that kind
Yeah.
of to
Yeah.
make you busy.
yeah, that'll get you busy.
Well, it's very nice to see you all again. And come back next week and we will have another wonderful time knitting together.
You? Thank you.
Yes. Thanks. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Frank.